Hey viewers, and welcome to the No Junk Food Challenge. This is going to be an overview of the last 6 days or so. I haven't posted a video recently, but what happened so far is, I think I left off on the 23rd. I can't really remember what I ate that day, but I knew it was more on track of what I've been trying to do. I know the 24th, I know what happened on the 24th. It was like a day where I was just really relaxing. I remember having banh mi that day, and so that came into question of whether or not that was against the whole red meat thing, because banh mi I think it has beef in it. Had beef in it, and then I was like, oh, I'm not trying to eat red meat, but then I was like, oh, I had denti more the other day and I didn't count it, so it was in the middle there. And there was also white bread, but I'm kind of excluding that so much on my journey in the No Junk Food Challenge. And same with white rice. It's such a part of my diet that it's kind of like, oh, take it out. So I'm sticking with that. I noticed, oh yeah, Christmas, I decided to take a break from the No Junk Food Challenge, and I'm like, I'm gonna eat these cookies, I'm gonna eat the chocolate, I'm gonna eat the desserts, whatever we had for Christmas, and honestly, I didn't really enjoy it very much. It was kind of interesting. I took those prior days off to not eating the sweets, and then once I had them, it wasn't really good. Like, I had this strawberry milk. I did research on it. No strawberries in it. It was just flavoring. I tasted it, really artificial, and you could tell like the white separates from the pink, and it's all just like coloring. I also had a whole bunch of cookies. To be honest, the cookies weren't really having that much of an effect on me. I wasn't like so overcome by like the taste. I was kind of like and then I had some chocolate, dark chocolate also, but having all those sweets in one day really kind of wrecked me. It just, wow, it was a little too much for me. So yeah, I didn't really enjoy it very much. So one of my tricks was to really desensitize myself to food, because I'm kind of emotionally attached to food. I have memories, I have feelings attached to desserts and other unhealthy things, and I realized if I desensitize myself to it, then I won't really crave it as much. So as I was eating, I was kind of thinking more negatively about the food itself, and kind of really analyzing the food in general, and not being so like just focused on the feeling, but the actual flavor of the food. So after that, the day after that, the 26th, I wanted to really go back on the challenge, because after that Christmas day, I was like, whew, no more. So I was doing pretty well on that day. There was another item that was in like a gray area, matzo meal. It's like a cracker, but there's honestly no preservatives, no junk in that. It's just wheat and water, and that's it. And so I'm like, this isn't really junk food, and plus it kind of fills me up a bit. It's such a humongous cracker size, and plus the serving size is really good. There's no sodium, there's no fat. All there is carbohydrates and a little bit of, actually there is no sugar in it, so basically it's really nothing. So I kind of counted that as something that was fine. So the 27th was when I went back. I remember I took lunch with me, which was fine, and then when I got home, that's when I was eating more. Portion size, I gotta remember portion size also. I'm trying to think about how portion size, what I really need to eat, and not just like overeat. And so that day, I remember I decided in my head to, because we had tons of leftovers, I guess I'm over exaggerating, we had leftovers, desserts, sweets, that is against my No Junk Food Challenge, leftover from the day before. And I realized, well, I don't want this food to go to waste. Made a little excuse. It was an excuse there, and I was craving the food, but I also realized that I shouldn't waste the food. So I decided to have a slice of pie, and a cookie. But I also got to remember moderation and not to eat it all at once, because that's not good for the body. Little bit at a time, little bit, trying to self-control. And so I was actually able to not eat tons of sweets after I allowed myself that slice. So even today, what is it today, the 28th, I decided I would eat a little bit at a time for the sweets. So there's like this really, there's like Cool Whip and fruit salad and marshmallows, a little bit, apple pie, a little bit. But this food isn't really having that much of an effect on me as before. Like I remember I went to clean up at a baseball field around here. There was like picking up, weeds, making it look nice so the kids could go back. There was free food, and it was all American food, junk food, chips, popcorn, hamburgers, hot dogs. My mouth is like salivating right now. It's like, oh, and donuts. I mean, all junk food that's not good for you at all. And so, since it was free food, I decided to treat myself to it. And I had like a whole bunch of stuff. And by the end, I didn't feel good at all. I was wiped out. Especially my brain. It was like the dopamine rush. Dopamine just like flooded my brain. I was like brain fog right there. I couldn't really think. My brain felt numb. I was just totally wiped out after all that junk food. Whew. Man, it just goes to show you that stuff really isn't good for you. After you get past that delusional idea that this food is good for you, you kind of realize, oh, this stuff really has an effect on you. So, yeah, that's why I'm doing a little bit of moderation. So once all those leftovers are pretty much done with, I'm going to definitely go back to the more stricter version of the no junk food challenge. It's something I'm working on, and I don't know, the benefits of the no junk food challenge so far has just been self-control and realizing how much something has a control over my life. So I can look for, once I get this challenge over with, be like, no junk food, no fap. What else can I cut out of my life that's really unhealthy? So I hope you guys are doing well on your journey of the no junk food challenge. Like I said, food is a bit harder than fapping, because fapping is really unnecessary, but food is necessary, as I've seen. And so it's really hard, especially when you have too much food, leftovers. There's a lot of gray area there, and so it's up to you to decide how you want to do this challenge. So I definitely want more self-control over food. I don't want to desire food as much, and I want to eat healthier so I can keep my body running really well. So I hope you guys are doing well, and see you guys next time.